All right, hello and welcome again. Today we just did our maintainer call earlier today, and now it is time for Trino contributor call. We're a small group here, and that's mostly probably because it's the 28th of November 2024, and it's Thanksgiving in the US, so everyone is having turkey and getting ready to have turkey and whatever else. So we are hanging in here, chatting about all things Trino in the community, and we just started talking about HTTP2 in the internal communication. Mateusz, do you want to tell us a bit more what happened there, unfortunately?
Yeah, so we got some reports from the users on the Slack and on GitHub that it's not working. There are some cases where the HTTP thread seems to stuck. So I decided that I would just like roll back to the previous state until we investigate this further. This is unfortunate because we did a lot of benchmarks on our own infrastructure, both like benchmarks that are running TPC, HTTPS queries and also throughput benchmarks, which basically try to run as many concurrent queries as it can in some like time window, and it didn't break, but there are reports that obviously like show that it's not working. So so we need to roll back and like investigate it further.
Yeah, fair enough. Obviously, people who haven't upgraded to any of the releases that don't enable HTTP2 yet are fine, so it's not really a big impact. And also the people that are not, they can also turn it off, right?
Yeah.
So
Basically,
you,
the configuration toggle was switched to on by default, but you can always like switch it off.
yeah, I think it's
Um,
in this HTTP server properties here somewhere, right?
yeah, I think so. It's internal communication config.
Oh yeah,
So
sorry, internal, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so it's within our properties documentation here. You can find it for sure. So you can disable it if you happen to be on a release that's have it like using HTTP2. If you're not encountering problems, obviously that's fine. If you are encountering problems, please let us know. There's an issue filed already, I think I saw. And then, yeah, more information is always useful. So please let us know. Yeah, the other thing is it does affect the latest release that we released yesterday, 466, which does add the spooling protocol. And so that's super exciting. Obviously, we've been having it in the code base for quite a while, but now it includes documentation. So if you go to, and the documentation you see here is upgraded, you go clients, you see the client protocol documentation, brand new page, and it talks about the spooling protocol. The main difference is that from an infrastructure, you now need some sort of object storage configured. So
Correct.
we support Google Cloud Storage, Amazon S3, and compatible ones. Specifically, I think we're using MNO for testing, right, Mateusz?
Yes, on local stack.
Yeah. Oh, cool. And then obviously also Azure. And what's happening in a nutshell is that the files that are no longer transmitted directly through the coordinator, they are potentially written by the workers to the storage, and then the client can download them in parallel. The workers can write them in parallel, and you can download them in parallel, which makes it faster. Currently, it's implemented for the JDBC driver and the command line interface. And we're going to implement it in other clients, and we would love for you to try it out. But we
Yeah,
get
this
some.
is it's worth to mention that this is opt-in feature, so you can enable it if you want. You can disable it. The client has it's like the support automatic, so the new JDBC new CLI will work out of the box if the server is configured to use the spooling protocol.
Yeah, it's super smooth. So it doesn't really affect you at all if you're not configuring. If you are configuring, it will automatically take advantage if the client supports it. And we would love for you to hear, like from experience, also people that use, say, for example, the JDBC driver. You could try it out with your own custom application that uses the JDBC driver already, if you have one, or if you're using something like DBeaver or so, upgrade to the latest and try it out and see what happens, right? Like it'll be great to get some practical experience. Obviously, we have done some testing, but there's only a few of us, so we can only test so much.
Yeah, I was actually, when I was developing it, I was using JDBC driver and DB Weaver to test that. So,
Okay,
so
cool.
it
That's
works.
good. Yeah, yeah. So that's super exciting. So that's the spooling protocol. The other big news yesterday, I'm preparing a blog post for this. We finally have an Apache Ranger plugin in Trino, in the Trino codebase, which when you look back, it's ridiculous how long there has been something living in various places. Now, finally, we have it in Trino itself. The advantage of that, obviously, is that whenever we change the SPI and things change and improve, you still get a compatible Ranger plugin because it gets cut and is part of every release. So should be exciting. We'll see where this goes. At least the main advantage for us on Trino Slack will be that less people will ask how to adapt the code base from some old one to make it work. We can just tell everyone to get the latest Trino and enjoy the Ranger plugin. Huge shout out to everyone who helped. I will get a blog post going next week. There's lots of people involved. Thank you so much. It's been amazing. Another thing we want to talk about quickly for now is we are contemplating to raise the requirement of the client libraries, so specifically the CLI and the JDBC driver in terms of Java requirement to Java 11 or maybe even 17, at least 11, however. And we want to know if this affects you. Interestingly enough, in the last release, Mateusz actually added a change that allows the clients to use native decompression, which actually makes it faster with Java 22 and up. So if you're still on Java 8, you should think about maybe even for that reason alone, upgrading a little bit, not to mention that like all these old Java versions are unsupported and terrible.
Yeah, but this applies only to the spooling protocol, because in the spooling protocol, you can actually use the JSON with the compression. And this is something unique for like to the spooling protocol. So you can actually get this like benefit if you run the spooling protocol.
Yeah, which it should be anyway. So it's
Yeah,
double
but
check.
the native decompression is extremely fast. When we were benchmarking, it was like 4 or 5 times faster than the Java implementation. So I highly encourage like to try it out because it's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And obviously with the spooling protocol, which is aimed at higher throughput and more files, in overall, the impact is even bigger, right? So it's really, really amazing to try that out. But if you're still stuck on some old Java, specifically Java 8, and that you're using the JDBC driver or the CLI, please let us know. Obviously, the old releases would still be available and compatible, but we would just lose new features. The reason we want to do this is because we need to modernize the libraries being used in there, and we're carrying some old craft around that we don't want to carry anymore.
Yeah, I actually, when I am like doing anything in the client CLI or JDBC, I'm always confused that some of the Java features are missing, like the language syntax.
Yeah, I
So
mean, like, yeah, if you look back and you compare what's possible in Java 23 or 22 in terms of code, and you look at the Java 8 code, it's a different language. It's not the same thing. Like, it's just completely
yeah,
different.
the new Java is always like much more convenient than the old syntax. You
Yeah,
get a
or the
lot of
library.
things for free, and the code is much easier to read, much easier to refactor. So the sooner we get JDK 11 or 17 and JDBC CLI, the better for us.
Yeah, that'll be good. All right, so we will iterate that request and question to the community in other places as well. Hopefully we hear nothing, and then if we hear nothing, then we assume that that means we can upgrade. A similar thing about not hearing anything. Actually, we did hear something about the Kinesis connector, and that is that we are kind of positively knowing that no one is using it anymore, and we would like to get rid of it. So we are contemplating very hard to remove it shortly. So if you are dependent on the Kinesis connector, please let us know and maybe even help us upgrading it. We know that the Amazon Kinesis team is not going to help us. So so don't bother asking them. But yeah, if you're still using it, let us know. Otherwise, in one of the next releases, that one's probably gonna go. We have a similar plan for the Phoenix connector potentially, as well as the Kudu connector. So we'll see how that goes. If you're using any of those, please let us know that you depend on them and that you love them and that you want to help us maintain them. We'll see how that goes. So I think that's all those notes. There's issues for the removal of these connectors. I will link them in the show notes. So that should be good. Last thing I wanted to mention, please, everyone register for Trino Summit and join us in, I can't believe it, 2 weeks. You see the summit lineup is now live. You can see it on the Trino blog. You can register on Starburst, our event sponsor. So that's going to be super amazing. We have all these talks. You see here the keynote from Martin will tell us all about what's happened in Trino in 2024 and what we plan to some degree to do next year, obviously with all of your help. We'll have a panel discussion about AI in Trino with some heavy hitters that are heavily involved with Trino and AI. So that should be interesting perspectives there we share. And then we have a bunch of half-hour sessions from places like CardioEye, Wise, Intuit, LinkedIn, Prezi, Netflix, and others. So really exciting to see all the different usages of Trino, Trino Gateway, and all the tools we offer together with Iceberg and different deployment platforms and migrations from Redshift and whatever else. So lots of interesting sessions and then also a few interesting lightning talks. So it should be a great conference. We invite you to join us. It's a free event, so easy to register. And ultimately, over time, we'll also make all the videos available afterwards. But obviously, we want you to join us live because that's when you can ask questions to the speakers and hang out with others, chatting about how you're using it and learning from others as well. Which, of course, as usual, you can also do on Trino Slack all the time. And that is the keynotes and rest of things happening at Trino Summit. That is all the topics I had for this contributor call on this Thanksgiving. Christian, did you want to jump in on talk about something else with the community, letting them know anything?
No, unfortunately, no updates or any interesting topics for me.
All right, cool. Well, Christian is joining us here, and he's one of the hackers on the AWS proxy, which we will talk about at some stage as well.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that. Very exciting.
Yeah, me too.
All right, cool. Well, if there's nothing else to talk about, unfortunately, there isn't any more hanging around. I just want to let everyone know Trino Summit is coming again, 11th and 12th of December. And on the 13th of December, we'll have a post-summit Trino contributor call where we can chat about all the cool talks and our impressions and just celebrate the end of the year coming soon, I guess, and be happy about...
Plan for the next year.
Plan for the next year, yeah. We'll be rocking on with Trino. All right, cool. I think that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to stop sharing and stop the recording.